Hello, there we go. I can be loud, but I'm not confident in my vocal abilities lately. So, hello, welcome to TCG and to St. John's Chapel. Everybody's running in late. First of all, we just want to say thank you for that amazing meal and for all the welcoming. We have just felt incredibly loved and welcomed, and it's just been a really, really sweet transition. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So typically we sometimes start with some music. I have been on a month-long recovery process, so I am not still able to sing. So I wanted to start with a reading today, but I just want to invite everybody to take a second and just close your eyes if you feel safe to do so. And I want you to take a deep breath. And as you breathe, I want you to recognize that the breath that fills your lungs is a miracle. I want you to tune into your senses and to be aware of who is sitting next to you or across from you or nearby. And to honor that the breath in their lungs is a miracle. That we are sharing space, that we are sharing breath, that this gathering, this community, this place is sacred. I want you to tune into your senses and to feel the ground beneath you, whether that be the chair that you're sitting on or your feet on the floor or your arms on the table. And to acknowledge this place. And if you feel like you can, to sense the feeling of the ground underneath our feet, the soil, and below that soil, rock, below that rock, water, and somewhere far below all of that is fire. And that fire is light, and when this world began, it began with light. And we sit here under the light of this sun as it starts to fade into the night. And we gather here together, and that is a miracle. I want to read these words to you. We have read this liturgy before, but it's one of my absolute favorites, and I thought it was time to bring it back. I believe in a soft God. I believe in a soft God who cries and mourns with us for all the ways our bodies have been violated and shattered and murdered and broken and unloved and erased. I believe in Jesus, soft God incarnate, who holds our breaths and breathes animus and love back into our lungs and arteries when we no longer have the strength for the pulse of life. I believe in the soft spirit who at the depths tenderly swings by to empower in us the sounds of our own voices, of our sorrows, of our cries, and the earth's, of our strengths. I believe in a church that listens to the susurrus of the earth, that feels the pain circulating in its body, that is not indifferent to violence, that believes in the cries of those who report violence at the expense of their livelihood, as well as those who are not able to do so. I believe in artistic, embodied communities beyond the walls of the churches and faiths and religions that have organized resistance for millennia. I believe these communities have and will continue to move forward in responsibility and solidarity and God-given softness to undo the violent configurations of power, patriarchy, racism, the environmental kind as well, classism, albiism, transphobia, homophobia, supremacy, colonialism, capitalism, pain, abandonment, indifference, and hate. I believe in the communion of ancestors and saints and sinners and creation, living and non-living, who have thoughts that feel and feelings that think, communities that will not allow hate and intolerance to win, but who will come to the table hand in hand shoulder to shoulder to move softly forward in radical joy and acceptance and hope and earthly togetherness. Oh, friends, as we sit in this space together, I celebrate each human in this space. And I hope that each human in this space feels celebrated. I pray over this time together, and I just want to invite in a sense of belonging and a sense of okayness to be ourselves and to be who we were created to be who we are, and to know that who we are is enough and who we are is celebrated. And our stories are powerful, our stories are unwinding, and they are winding together here in this space now. Our stories make us who we are, just as our ancestors' stories have made us who we are. And our stories will make the next generation's stories who they are. And every piece of that is honored and worthy and acknowledged. Amen. We are very excited Christy's back in town, and so we will give her the space.
Hi, guys. I missed you all last week. But I'm not going to lie, it was really nice to be in Oregon. So we had a really great trip. It was beautiful. I got to go to the bookstore I've always wanted to go to my whole life. So 4 stories and a whole city block of books. I was in heaven. And Bob was very patient with me and let me shop. So it was great. So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I know that is of no surprise to you. We're always doing things a little bit different around here. But because tonight is a special night, because we have both our St. John's friends and many of our TCG regulars here, I wanted us to take some time tonight to get to know each other a little bit, to kind of get to talk and to celebrate and to dream together a little bit. So I'm going to kind of prompt us with some questions, but we're going to kind of engage more this way tonight with all of us, rather than just at our tables in discussion. So my first question for you is, what is weighing heavy on your heart? What's heavy on your heart? What's heavy on your mind tonight as you come into this space? Anybody want to name something? Genocide. Jeff. The approaching season, cold weather is headed our way very soon. Yes. Israel. Yeah. Anybody else? Medical? Same. Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah, the fear that comes with the changing of seasons, especially when we don't have the privilege of stability and safety and knowing all of those things. Absolutely. This is a time of year with a lot of heavy emotions. Anybody else? So all this year at TCG, for those of you that aren't regularly hanging out with us, we've been looking at the red letters of Jesus. And so we have looked at it in many different forms and fashions. We tend to take a few red letters and wrestle with them and talk about them and figure out how we apply those to our lives and what that looks like to really be a follower of Jesus's teachings. And one of the things that I absolutely love and appreciate about Jesus is that people mattered to Jesus. Stories mattered to Jesus. Emotions mattered to Jesus. People's hurts and problems and anxieties mattered to Jesus. And he was willing to stop an entire throng of people and listen to the sound of Bartimaeus on the side of the road screaming out, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And he says, "What do you want?" And Bartimaeus says, "I want to see." And then when Bartimaeus gets his sight back, if you guys remember, we talked about this story this summer, what does Bartimaeus do? He could have done anything in the world, right? He could have gone and reunited with family and seen friends and all kinds of things. But scripture says he got up and he followed. Because there's something about being around people who see you and who take time to get to know you and recognize that you have a need and they're willing to adjust themselves to meet that need. And I think that's what we're called to do in the church in following in the example of Jesus. So I hear those things that you're naming that are heavy on our heart. And I want to acknowledge those tonight because I know that we all come into this space with stuff. We all come into this space with stories and emotions and all of the things that we wrestle with. But I also want to give us a chance to celebrate. I want to give us a chance to celebrate some of the good things in our world right now too. So my next question for you is, what are you celebrating? Babies? Yes, adorable, cute little babies tonight. They make you happy. Come on, you guys, I know you're celebrating stuff. It doesn't have to be big stuff. Come on, TJ. 8 months sober. Yes. Yes, yes. See, do you see what's happening right here? Like, this is a practice that we need to learn how to reincorporate into our spiritual disciplines. Like, it's good to celebrate, and it's good to name those things, and sometimes I think we struggle to do that. Sammy. Yes. If you guys have not heard, Sammy is the new director of the Women's Cold Weather Shelter at Grace. So, Chris. What? Wait, say that again one more time really loud. Got your own address and a mailbox. I'm so proud of you. Good. Good, good, good. Mandy. Yes. Mm-hmm. Stephanie, what was yours? Yes. Yes. Energy, momentum, all the things. Yeah. Who else? What are you celebrating? Working. Yes, that's a huge thing. Jeff graduated and got his CDL, and well, still, that's a thing. Yes, that's okay. We're going to use it at some point. What you celebrating, Babo? Friendship. Yes. That's a good one. Yes. Yes, that's a good one. Finally knocking things off your to-do list. Holly, how about you? What are you celebrating? Yeah, that's exciting. How about you guys? What are you celebrating at this table? Anything? You guys. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Yeah. I was gonna say we can hook you. Oh, I think you just got voluntold. I think is what just got happened. That's amazing. Celebrating friendship and community and grace and life. I had a conversation this week that reminds me of that statement where we were talking about, somebody said, I feel like I finally arrived, and I kind of chuckled a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if that's really the point of life, is to say that we've arrived and like check it off. I think we're constantly on a journey, right? And we're never supposed to just stop growing. We're never supposed to stop learning or stop building relationships or stop trying new things, right? Life is all about, as long as we're here and we've got energy and breath in our bodies that Holly helped us to be reminded of and celebrate tonight. You're here for a reason, and we're here for a purpose, and there's so much potential around that, no matter what that looks like. And so I love that that is something that we're celebrating. Yeah. Anybody else? How about you, Gary? What are you celebrating? Yeah. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Michelle? Ooh. There's a lesson in that for us, right? That usually tends to be the thing we name in the first question of like, what's heavy on your heart? But you're right, there's so much purpose, and those growing edges don't always feel good, but man, they're doing a thing. So, all right. Let me hear it. Yeah. Thank you, Dean. How about you, Dina? What are you celebrating? Yeah, that's you.
I'm celebrating an amazing life, being the director of this amazing outreach center that you guys all put together for me.
Oh, I know a person that can make you a shirt. They're sitting at your table adjacent to your table right now. If you need shirts made, see Michelle. There's your plug. Okay, so here's my next question for you. What does church mean to you? Community. Saturdays with friends. Family. What was yours? Reflection. Food. That's a good one. Arnessa. Growth. What was yours, Holly? Belonging. I love that. Support. Anybody else? Absolutely. Yeah. Church sometimes comes with a lot of baggage and a lot of triggers. So, what could church be? Dream with me for a minute. What could church look like? What do you want church to look like in the city of Springfield? Boundaryless. Talk more about that. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So you would like to see the church as a whole be more accepting, more welcoming, okay? Chris. Okay, look. Yeah, and now there are no wrong answers. Hold on, you gotta let him explain. Okay. 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 So like sharing of resources. Okay. Okay. Who else? What? You go first. Mm. 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 What do you think the church needs to set the example in? Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Mm-hmm. Walking out those things we talk a lot about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, we can get them really good on Amazon. Yeah. I will send you a link. I got you. We can track down hot hands. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. What does it look like to be what we talk about being? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that looks like getting out of our comfort zone sometimes too. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dina, you were wildly waving that hand. Lay it on me.
Okay, here's the deal. Well, I come from hospitality, so that's all church is hospitality.
Yeah.
I want to live in a community that I know I walk down the street and if I get jumped or if a cop beats me up, that someone's gonna come over and help me. And I just I'm not gonna lay there on the ground and die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want that mutual respect. You're gonna open the door for me instead of putting the bus on my legs like a cruise.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to let me on the bus because I may or may not have a towel over.
Right.
I want every single one of like the hope exists
Mm-hmm.
that we co-create that community for the church of love.
Yeah. Little love out loud. Yeah. Well, and I would add to that, Dina, that I think even before we can love and show hospitality, it has to start with recognizing people's humanity. I think we live in a culture and in a space that it's really easy to devalue people because of fill in the blank, right? We devalue people because of their shelter status. We devalue people because of the way they smell. We devalue people because of sobriety. We devalue people because of mental health or incarceration status and all the things. And so anytime that we devalue anyone, we use that to justify why we don't treat with respect, or we don't treat with hospitality, or we don't love. And I think when we look at the red letters of Jesus, Jesus valued humanity every single time he engaged with people. He took time, he recognized, he loved in that moment, and it has to start with that. How else can we be more like the church? Chris? Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Nobody be outside. We have 7 churches. 7 churches out of 600 that are going to engage in shelter regularly this winter. I think our big dream has always been to have the outreach center open 24 hours a day. And I hear you so much, Chris, and you're right. It does. Like, what does that look like if everybody does a little bit? But I think sometimes it goes back to that comfort zone piece of sometimes that comfort zone can be a real barrier to even the little bit. And I think we've got to wrestle with some of that in ourselves, but also communally in all of us and what that looks like. So I love that. Holly, what were you going to say? Talk more about that. Yeah. And I think the church is a prime place to be a catalyst and to lead by example in that area of taking better care of the planet and having better, we call it eco-theology. There's your big fancy word for the night. But that idea of what does it look like to have a holistic view of the planet as part of our expression of worship. Hold on one second, Dee. And so I challenge that. Like, what would that look like for us to lead out in that space? I read a study once that talked about how churches often, we tend to favor things that are fast and convenient. And so churches tend to be one of the really bad offenders of like paper products and things like that, because it's easy. We can do that with buffets and stuff. But those are those decisions that we have to make to sometimes do things in a little less convenient way, because it does make a difference, and to set that example. So I appreciate that. Yes, my dear. Yeah. 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 Church looks like we and not me. Yeah. Or you by yourself. Chris. Yes. I think to get to that, we have to do that first. But yes, 100%. I would love to be able to just get rid of the outreach center because there's not a need for it. That'd be amazing. Or reuse it for something else. We'd find something else for you to run, Dina, I promise. That's good. Hi, Cindy. We missed you. Anybody else? What could the church look like? What should the church look like? If you do that, you should not build your makeshift lean-to in the back of the OC under the hole in the gutter, just for the record. The only place that pours down is where we chose to build our tarp that night. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. So I would sum that up with radical empathy. Like, what does that look like to be willing to put yourself in someone's shoes and to understand what that experience feels like? So, April. Yeah. I would say it's probably less than 90 these days. Yeah. Yeah, with the cost of living and everything else, I would say most people are probably more like 45 to 60 days away from. Yeah, the dominoes start to fall. So let me ask you another question, and I'm going to have you talk about this at your tables for a few minutes, and then we're going to report back and kind of talk about what we talk about. So if you're at a table by yourself or with just a couple, you might want to like join forces. Yes, Jack, you can do it. So here's my question. So if we're all saying that the church needs to be more active, we need to be walking those things out, we need to be loving out loud in those spaces, my question to you is how? What does that look like? What are some ways that church gets walked out? And I don't just mean love and grace and mercy. Church gets walked out, because we talk about this a lot at Connecting Grounds. Church is not a noun. It's not a building. It's not a service. Church is the verb of community. It is the verb of loving. It is the verb of meeting needs. It is the verb of taking coffee and chocolate when somebody's had a crappy day, right? It's being there in those moments. It's seeing things. It's making our community a better place. That is being church. That is church incarnate. That is church walked out and embodied in our community. And so I want you to just kind of take a few minutes and dream at your table, what could that look like to walk church outside of these walls for TCG and for St. John's? What does that look like to do church outside of this space? So talk about that for a few minutes, and we're going to brainstorm some of that together. I'm going to give you guys about 4 more minutes. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna kind of go by tables and just kind of appoint someone to talk a little bit about what you guys talked about. I'm gonna pick on this table because I think they appointed Bob to talk first. So, all right. Let's hear it. You got to talk louder than that.
Basically, we have to encourage members of the church to step out of the way. The leaders of our church have to encourage people to step out of their comfort area. We have to be willing to thank our friends. Somebody, if you take time, get to know somebody, it will change. Whatever you think, read whatever is out there, it probably has nothing to do with it. So you need to take some time and get to know people. Pastors in this city and in this country need to push the church, get out of the comfort zone, and step out. So many churches, members only look to that pastor, almost more to that pastor than to God. If that pastor doesn't help change things.
That is Bob's summary. No, I love it. Okay, Sharita. No, not y'all. Okay. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And I think the more that we are A, pushing that conversation, and B, walking that out and living that, it stirs up that conversation then inherently. So how about you? Nope, go ahead.
Can I challenge Teresa as well? No, challenge me a little more is that I don't think that the core is actually something the churches need to be fixing. This isn't about church. This is actually about our community, about neighbors, taking care of neighbors. That's church too. Yeah, that's church.
And I think that that's part of it too, Dina. I think even that pushback is important because I think we tend to get ourselves very narrowly focused on church, and this is how we define it. So then when we start to explore other definitions, it's either or when it should be both and, right? The church should be multifaceted. The church is able to flex and be all things in all places, really, because if the church is us, it's not having to move a building. It's activating people. It's connecting people. So I think you're both actually onto the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys, your table. Who wants to be your spokesperson? Jose, you've been nominated. Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, love in the name of Jesus should not surprise people. Yeah, 100%. All right. April, Michelle, Dina, did you guys join this table? Okay. Bob spoke for you all. Okay. TJ, Mike, Michael, did you guys join, or are you your own table? Okay, let me have it. Mm. Yes. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. You guys had some good conversation back there in the corner. I love it. Chris, how about y'all? You want to, I was going to say, do you want to expand on that a little bit more there? Yeah. Uh-huh. So I think that story also reminds us of something really important, which is what Sharita said about being boundaryless, right? There's something about, sometimes I think the church struggles with, oh, you went to another church, oh, you moved away, oh, something else, oh, okay, so someone else is going to take care of that issue now, right? But community also looks like sometimes I'm willing to go the extra mile to go and check on you, or to go and bring you back, or to go make sure you're okay, and recognizing that if we don't have boundaries, then there's also never someone that's too far away or too far gone for us to keep reaching out to. I think that's really important too. Yeah. Yep. We fail forward every single time. And community and love looks like cheering us on as we get back up and we try to go forward again, instead of shaming us and condemning us for falling. So, yeah. When you're doing stuff together. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Right. So here's what I want to do with our last 10 minutes or so tonight. I'm going to put y'all way out of your comfort zones. Oh, I thought you guys joined their table. Did you have your own table? Okay. Sorry, I don't want to exclude you. I thought I saw you all talking together. So, okay, cool. So here's what I want to do with our last 10, 15 minutes, or however long you want to hang out. But I acknowledge this is going to put some of you out of your comfort zones. So you love me, just remember that. Or if you don't know me yet, I promise I'm a lovely person, and I don't always, well, I do usually make you uncomfortable. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. I want you to find somebody you don't know. And I want you to sit down and talk for a few minutes and just get to know each other. You can use the conversation cards on your table if you need something to talk about because you don't know where to start. Or you can just say, tell me 3 things about you, or where did you grow up, or however you want to start. But I'm going to challenge you to pick somebody in this room that you've not engaged with and just spend a few minutes talking. And that's how we're going to close tonight. So you guys hang out and talk with new people as long as you want, and we will see you back next week.
not doing it for everybody. We're not in possession of redemption.